Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. I'm William Hyman, your host, and this is Just Force 911, where we look at how our public officials do their job or they just really screw it up. Hey, guys, this one I had done in the past. It was Curtis. He was an officer, and there supposedly was supposed to be an investigation done. Well, guess what? Yeah, it wasn't done. Um, However, the young lady that he pushed his way in on sued him and the city and won $13,000. And $350,000, which came out of the taxpayers' money again. And he resigned and went over to the sheriff's department where they fired him because he was looking into a supposed job, and it wasn't. It was a personal matter. So he was fired from the sheriff's department. Hopefully, this clown's gone this time. Now, they were supposed to turn him into the Kentucky, what do they call it, board, and they didn't do that either. And this has just been one big cover up after another, where he goes from one place to another. Hopefully, this clown is done and he's no longer a cop anywhere. But I wanted to bring this up to you guys because this is typical. The cops do what they want, they break the law, they think they get away with it. And he tells the woman, well, if you think that I did wrong, then just sue me. Well, she did, and she won. And the taxpayers had to pay for it. Why didn't this clown have to pay for it? Take it out of his pension fund. Let them pay for it. Why does it have to come out of the taxpayer money? That's ridiculous. Especially when he's so blatant and says, well, if I did wrong, then sue me. That's what a lot of these cops do because they think that their qualified immunity is going to cover them. And this time, the boys in blue covered him. It's amazing. Guys, if you would subscribe to my channel, please. Thank you very much for those who have done it. I can't do this without you. Hit the bell icon so you know when I put a new video. Leave me a comment. To the gentleman who said that it's their job to protect and serve and not mine, it's not my job to protect and serve, clown. It's my job to point out the wrongs of what police officers do. If you can't figure that out, then I'm sorry. You're one of the 15 IQ people, like the cops. So good luck with that in life. Anyway, hit the like and share button because it helps my algorithms to bring it hopefully back up. I do not know how they work, and I really at this point don't care. So, guys, let's get this started.
Tonight, an LEX 18 investigates follow-up on police accountability. Last year, Lee Searcy told you about former Frankfort police detective Larry Gus Curtis, who was caught on police body cameras in two separate incidents that raised eyebrows, but neither case was investigated. Well, Lee has learned a settlement was reached in one of those cases, and she talked to the woman, and you're about to see part of that interview.
I'm sorry.
You have a warrant? Do you have a warrant?
No.
That's illegal. Iris, you're fine. That is illegal. Excuse me, you cannot force your way into my home.
But he did. That was former Frankfort police detective Gus Curtis on a welfare check when he barged into Kimberly Myers' home in July of 2023.
You are not legally. This is illegal. Get the out of my house. This is illegal. You just, excuse me.
It's illegal. File a civil lawsuit.
And Myers did.
You don't get to violate the law, treat me like this, and get away with it. He said, if it's illegal, file a civil lawsuit.
See, I didn't make this up. Now, where he lost the lawsuit, why doesn't it come out of his pension fund instead of us taxpayers paying for it? We shouldn't have to pay for this anymore. These bolden clowns are so bold that they're daring us now to sue them. So let's take it out of their pension funds, where it should come from.
So I did.
In federal court, she sued the city of Frankfort, the former Frankfort police chief, and Curtis for excessive force and violating her civil rights. All settled with Myers for $350,000. And under the agreement, Curtis can never work for the city of Frankfort in any capacity.
At least I was able to get that in this settlement to at least protect the city of Frankfort from this officer. But there's still an issue of public oversight.
As we initially reported 2 weeks before Myers' incident, there was another one. Curtis was conducting his own investigation in another county. That's him on the phone.
Hello? I'm a little upset that you had lied to me. You must have forgot what I did for a living.
He had asked another department, Nicholasville Police, to go to the man's house outside of his Frankfort jurisdiction to help in a case he was supposedly working. Yes, sir. But it was really a personal matter.
He is part of a criminal investigation.
Yes,
He needs to be identified.
Okay. I am not part of it. It's a civil matter.
The man filed a complaint, but when we looked through Curtis's personnel file, there was no mention of an internal investigation into the incident. Curtis eventually left the department to work for the Boyle County Sheriff's Department, where he was later fired.
After my incident, the Frankfort Police Department should have fired Gus Curtis and referred him to KLEC.
That's the Kentucky Law Enforcement Council. By law, Kentucky police departments are required to report officers to KLEC who were fired or resign under investigation for fireable offenses.
Yeah, see, they're required, but then they cover the stuff up and don't do it. And, you know, it's like that's their get out of jail free card because the brothers in blue, you know, they cover each other's butts when it turns bad on them.
But remember, the records we saw didn't indicate Curtis was under any such investigation. Moving forward,
I'm hoping that they're going to be, holding their officers accountable for misdeeds, that when somebody from the public reports to them misconduct, that they investigate.
Myers says she still struggles from her encounter with Curtis.
It's been very traumatizing. I'm already a survivor of domestic violence. And then to have this happen from somebody that is supposed to be serving and protecting, I live in fear. I'm working to try and get past that, but I live in fear.
In Frankfort, Lee Searcy, Evening Edition.
So, guys, this is the same thing I've been saying for months. They get caught. They know that they're not going to get held responsible because the boys in blue will back them and cover up for them. The blue union, this blue shield they have, and this thin blue line. And then he gets fired and goes to the sheriff's department when he should have went to the Kentucky law group. And, that didn't happen. It ended up going to the sheriff's department, getting fired again. So is this clown finally done? Has he been stripped of his right to be an officer? If not, how come? Who's in charge of this? And why aren't they, being stripped also? So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Leave me a comment and tell me what you think. Remember, always phone the police. They're not your friends.